Alex Pereira, 185 pounds, 205 pounds. Guys, have I fallen? Has Alex Pereira and where he's going to return fallen into the territory where you guys don't care? I've never struck out in 5 years over here talking to you guys. I have never struck out like I have telling you about Blachowicz and Ankalaev. I just couldn't get you there. I couldn't do that any which way. I had Prohaska versus Glover, like 205 pounds, which was the perennial division. When there didn't used to be weight classes, there was 205 pounds. You guys aware of that? There hasn't always been 125 and 35 and 45 and 55. But there's always been 205 pounds. Always. When Randy Couture was keeping the lights on, when Tito Ortiz was manning the ship, when Chuck Liddell was selling the tickets, when Frank Shamrock himself, I'm just sharing for you, it is a perennial division. And I'm thinking that Pereira could be joining it, which would do two things. It would open up 185 pounds, right? What's going to happen there? And it would move him into 205 pounds, of which appears to have already begun. It appears that has already started. There was something real fun going into this weekend's fight, and it ended up not catching on. They ended up making Lionheart the backup fighter. But what was discussed is Lionheart would fill in because he was training with Jamal. He will fill in for Jamal if Jamal can't go, but that Pereira would fill in for Glover if Glover couldn't go. This was discussed. And perhaps there's nothing interesting going on there. You guys might have to stick that one with me as well. And there's ideas being floated out there. Just so you understand how these things happen. Well, there's a rumor going around. There's no accidental rumors. These are on absolute purpose. Getting an audit used to be really hard to do. Getting an exact audit on the internet is no problem. So you put these feelers out, and then you go chase down what the numbers are and where the interest is. So the feeler that has recently come out was Robert Whittaker versus Alex Pereira. I don't know how it did. I didn't track the trends on that. I don't know. But for some reason, we've moved on from Izzy. That can change. And I will just tell you about 185 pounds and being a big guy. Some of the most trying moments of my life were trying to get down to 185 pounds. It was an absolute lifestyle. Your physiology. But it's not just a matter, guys, of put on a plastic suit and have an extra serving of broccoli. That's not what it is. The mental toughness required to pull that kind of weight. You have to be in. I was in, but I can remember that. Sometimes it had to do with the money. Sometimes it had to do with that's where my great rival was. I'm getting down there so I can go get in there with Anderson. But there was reasons I had to be at that weight class, and it was everything. And I'm only sharing for you. I was one of the bigger middleweights to have done it. I was nowhere near as big. Try 18 pounds and 4 inches, not as big as Pereira. Now, Pereira's drive and motivation was pretty clear to us. Adesanya. Gotta be Izzy. And moreover, my friend, my teammate, my mentor, and my coach is at 205 pounds. I'm going to stay out of his wheelhouse, right? Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier all over again. But neither one of those things are true anymore. And I just want to share this with you guys. I want to tell you something, because there's some things you don't know. There's not very many people who have ever cut weight. It's a weird thing to do. There's not a profession on earth that you can weigh the person in before they get to go to work. That would be a class action lawsuit so fast your head would spin. It's an extremely rare thing to do. So I'm not attempting to condescend to you. I'm attempting to really share for you. We don't put a lot of spotlight on it. They do the weigh-in, they do the ceremonial weigh-in. I mean, off you go. It's just kind of a part of the sport. That is all day, every day, leading up into that match. It is down to an absolute science, but it is not get a couple more steps on the treadmill, get a little more carrots. It's not what it is. And I don't know where the motivation would be for Pereira. He would not have that motivation to go fight Robert Whittaker. I'll tell you that much. It's just when it happened. He just beat the guy who beat Robert. Like, that's not what's going to do it. He has come out himself and said he would do it for Adesanya, that he doesn't want to. He'd rather move on. Let Izzy go this way and let me go that way. But I will return the favor. It's a very cool statement by him, and I'm quoting. Other than that, I mean, he has some kind of heat with Chimaev that slipped in there, and he said, I'll do it. I'm not cutting weight for you. I'm not putting my belt up, but I'll do it. I'll do it at 205 pounds. I mean, I'm just sharing. He's already told us where he's going. He was in the corner. In case you guys missed this, right? A picture's worth 1,000 words. There's a still photo. It's going around the interwebs right now. It is Jamal Hill getting his belt, having his glorious moment. Glover hanging his head a little bit. And Pereira, who is a cornerman of Glover, is in there sizing up Jamal. Oh, and by the way, between Pereira, your 85-pound champion, Glover and Jamal, easily, the biggest of the three of them was Pereira. And I mean easily. So this is not a situation where, hey, let's talk to him. Let's see what he wants to do. It's not a matter of that. It's not even a matter of if Dana was to step in and go, listen, Pereira, look, I don't like guys vacating titles here. You're brand new. You've only had 5 matches. I bump you up here within 6 matches. You're going to have 2 of my belt. I mean, look, I just don't like it. That isn't enough to get him there, guys. That wouldn't do it. A request from Dana, I'm just telling you, just wouldn't do it. It would make him say, I would like to do it. But there is a mental commitment and a drive and a desire, or he's never going to see that weight class again. And I haven't heard anything yet that'll get you there. It's not Chimaev. It's not Paulo Costa. It's not Robert Whittaker. It might be just to make good on his word to do it for Adesanya, but something does not feel like those guys are getting ready to have that match next. And it does get very interesting. Right? I mean, the problem is solved at 205 pounds. Hell, he was in the cage with Jamal 3 days ago. Like, the problem is solved there. Then you bring Prohaska back, and you got these 2 strikers like that. Off we go. Where we get a little bit more complicated is, what do you do at 185 pounds? Israel Adesanya has lapped the division. So it's really not that feasible to imagine that he doesn't then become the champion, who's then got the little asterisks because the guy left, right? I mean, it's a really tough spot unless you're bringing somebody else into the division that you think can get the jump on all of them, which is where the mystery of Chimaev would land. If Chimaev moved into the division, never having had an opportunity, and becomes champion, there's no asterisks. I mean, it's food for thought. I'm just sharing that with you. But Pereira, whether he's going to defend at 85 or vacate 85, it is not as simple as, what can we get him to agree to do? He has to really want it. And I haven't seen anything tantalizing there. Anything captivating. Now, on the other hand, a dude just beat up his mentor 4 days ago. Guys, this really isn't that complicated. Pereira is going to 205 pounds.